So today we are in beautiful Miami talking to Willy Sandoval. He is the Vice President of Internal Audit and Risk Management at Millicom. Willy, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, Kieran. Good to see you.
So could you first of all give us a little bit of your own background, your role at Millicom?
Like you said, Kieran, yes, I lead the internal audit and enterprise risk management function at Millicom. In terms of background, I spent my career here in the United States. I'm originally from Peru, but I came to college about 20-something years ago. And I spent my career in the Big Four, as well as in publicly traded corporations, multinationals, leading internal audit, enterprise risk management functions, compliance functions. So that's what I've been doing.
Nice. Yeah, we both started off at Deloitte. You started career
Yeah,
at Deloitte,
I started,
right?
yeah, at Deloitte.
Yeah. So I always tell people the most exotic, exciting place I got to go to was Swindon, which is about 2 hours outside of London. Did you get to go anywhere more exciting than that during your time? Or?
I travel a lot with Deloitte, mostly in the United States, West Coast, New York, East Coast, in the middle of the country as well. So I got to spend a lot of time in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, as well as New York City and Boston, Chicago. Fun places, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what made you make the decision to move from the external side to being an internal auditor?
Yeah, no, good question. I was having a great time at Deloitte. It was a great company and enjoying my career there. Opportunities come sometimes, and a publicly traded corporation, Laureate Education, where I spent about 9 years. They came in with an opportunity that I think I couldn't refuse. That was an opportunity to come in and build from ground zero a department, understand the global investigations department, and then internal audit, compliance, etc. So it was a great opportunity, and I took it. You know?
Yeah. How do you see the workload shift between the external and internal side? I mean, I was very familiar that there was a lot of late nights for external auditors alongside me at Deloitte. Was it better or worse on that? Which side of the coin would you say?
I don't know. You know, it depends. Sometimes, yeah, you think the grass is greener always on the other side, but sometimes it may not be, right?
Yeah.
Certainly, there's always late night hours. There's always weekend work anywhere you go, especially at that time when you go into a company that is growing a lot, that is expanding countries and operations and so forth. There's always going to be. So it was a very exciting time, a lot of growth, a lot of personal and professional experience going through all that. And I was traveling everywhere, right? To China, to Australia, to Middle East, to South America, Europe. So you learn a lot through those, I don't want to say hard times, a lot of fun times, right?
The fun times, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the AI tooling that we have today, I always tell people, this is my fun factoid, that it was built to do translation originally, and it kind of generalized to general intelligence. In the pre-AI world, where you didn't have these translation models available, what was it like actually traveling to those other countries and speaking to someone whose native language is Mandarin and trying to do audit work in that country?
Yeah, I know, it's tough, right? I think that's the biggest challenge when you're working across cultures, different cultures or multinational environment, right? You're trying to understand language, culture, et cetera, how they do things that may do differently. So I think from us, from an internal audit perspective, always challenging, because if you don't speak the language, it's harder to communicate. And I think so much of an auditor skill is communication. Is trying to be able to concisely and factually and eloquently say the things that you're finding. Try to also gather information from the LDT. So that is a huge impairment if you don't know the language.
So outside of just translation technology, which is not a topic I realized I was going to talk about, how have you seen the role of technology change very broadly in the internal audit function since you've been involved?
I mean, the technology has completely changed the way we do audits, right? In internal audit, it has, I think, given us the opportunity to be a lot more strategic and a lot more collaborative with the management and the company. I remember a few years back, we were talking about data analytics and big data and how do we process all this. That was a big jump, I remember, on how we optimize our functions and the work that we do in trying to be more precise and more pinpoint those areas of red flags, of those areas that are in need of attention in a much faster way, because you're using analytics to get to scan through the whole data populations, et cetera. And you're able to provide better value to the management team with more precise recommendations. Nowadays, I think data analytics seems like so far ago, and nowadays everybody's talking about AI, and then that's the next thing, right? And what do we do now with AI? How can we continue to optimize? And that's, I think, the opportunity that I see in internal audit functions, right?
So as AI evolves and it takes away a lot of the basic work, which you normally expect a staff auditor to do, what do you expect the role of that entry-level staff auditor to actually look like?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Kieran. I think maybe it has to be with the definition of the entry-level auditor, right? Because I think if AI is going to come in and start doing more of the basic procedures that we do as an auditor, I think the auditor itself is going to have to just move to more strategic level thinking and using that information and using those tools that we have to be able to provide more strategic recommendations to the company. I think the shift of mentality, instead of a doer, more like an analyzer, and bridging the different points that we have, connecting the dots, providing that added value to management. Because I think the technology, what's going to happen is it's going to feed you a lot of more accurate, complete information, more tangible information, faster. And I think for us, it's going to be the level of interpretation and analysis that we do with that technology to generate recommendations that are more plausible, that are more strategic to the company. So I do think that it's going to become more strategic enabler than detrimental to the function.
Yeah, we hear that story repeated so often of moving from assurance to advisory, and I think the whole industry is kind of following along there. So
yeah, I mean, the advisory role is key as well, right? I think, and there's going to have to be a balance of both, right? Because not only technology is impacting internal audit functions, but technology is impacting companies and how fast companies move to and how fast companies implement things and do things. So I think internal audit has to accompany that. And in order to do that, then you need to make sure that you are embedded into the process, you are embedded into the things that are happening at the company and providing that feedback, providing that timely recommendations, consultancy type of advisory roles, rather than just doing your typical retroactive audits.
Yeah, makes sense. So my final question, totally unrelated to audit, is I fly back to San Francisco this evening. I have a couple hours for a meal. Is there anywhere in Miami that I need to check out before I go?
Yeah, man. So many good restaurants in Miami. I don't know if you've been to Wynwood area, Midtown area, fantastic restaurants. I would highly recommend. If not Brickell, obviously it's always a must. Beautiful buildings, beautiful restaurants, beautiful food. Yeah.
Nice. I've got hold of the company credit card, so going to do some damage.
Enjoy it.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, man. Good to see you, man.
Thanks. You too.